Welcome to the Guns and Noses podcast. My name's Helen Taylor and I am the owner of Guns and Noses, and I own 3 Labradors. We're here to talk about real moments, real lives, and the wins, the wobblers, and the occasional up yours moments. We're talking about those dogs with enthusiasm and us humans who are trying to keep up. So why don't you sit back, grab a brew, slow down, and listen in. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Guns and Noses podcast. I hope you've had a lovely weekend and you have enjoyed some of the sunshine that we've had. It's been absolutely glorious, and that you are getting ready and looking forward to the summer months ahead, because I sure am. Today, I want us to delve into a subject that's been spoken about quite a lot over my time and career as a dog trainer, but also in particular this week a lot with private lessons that I've been doing. And that subject is being over threshold. So when we talk about thresholds, we've got 2 places that a dog can be. We've got under threshold. This is where your dog can learn, they can think, they can respond, they can do all the things that you're asking them to do. And then we've got over threshold. And this is where your dog is reacting, not particularly thinking in that moment. And actually not a lot of real learning can happen when they are over threshold. What I want you to think of this like is when your dog is at a distance to something that they find either difficult or exciting, because both of them can create over threshold issues. And let's say your dog gets particularly excited by other dogs in the distance, and they are able to focus and do what you're asking them to do for a certain distance, and then all of a sudden you take another step closer and all their learning and ability to concentrate has gone out the window. That is when your dog is over threshold. And this is where we can get a lot of problems happening. Now, if you are proactive rather than reactive, you will deal with your dog when they are under threshold. So when they are able to cope, when they are able to learn, when they are able to think. If you are reactive, you will react to your dog's reaction. So let that just sink in there for a moment. If your dog doesn't cope with the company of other dogs, so they don't like the company of other dogs, so they might bark, they might lunge, they might grab hold of the lead. There's like lots of things that dogs do. They might redirect onto you. But if your dog is one of those dogs and you always wait until your dog is over threshold, so you are being reactive, not proactive, what happens in those moments is that there's a tangle of frustration from both ends of the lead. Usually the handler will give the dog a little bit of a telling off, and nobody really learns anything from it. But if we recognise when our dogs are about to react to something and we deal with it in a proactive manner, we can start to reduce how our dogs react within that moment. Now, I do realise that I've probably said the word react a lot, the words proactive and reactive, and under and over threshold. But it's really important to recognise this in your dogs. And we all have those thresholds as humans as well. So think about if you don't like something like spiders or snakes, or I've known friends in the past who have been frightened of clowns. And let's say you are aware that that thing is there. You're walking towards it and there will be a distance up to that thing that you are okay with it. But then you step one step too close and all of a sudden you're not. That is you being over threshold. And this is where stress levels rise. This is where thinking is not quite so clear. This is where reactions, if a dog is going to bark or lunge or whatever it may be, happens. And some dogs may even go into like a hyperfixated state. So they might not even lunge or bark or grab hold of the lead. They might just stare at it. They might stalk it. So they might get slightly lower to the ground and stalk it. If you have a dog who lays down when they see another dog and won't move, the moment your dog lays down, that is the moment they are over threshold. And our instincts in these moments are normally to talk a little bit more to our dogs. Oh, it's okay. It's absolutely fine. Don't you worry about it. We might cue them more to do things. So sit or watch me or ask for a hand touch. And it all just becomes quite messy. But once your dog's over threshold, learning stopped, concentrating has stopped, and thinking has definitely stopped. So what we want to make sure that we do is that we observe our dogs, recognize what it is that they are okay with, what it is that they're not okay with, and deal with those thresholds. And there'll be certain body signals that your dog gives you prior to them going over threshold. So it might be that they're more alert or that their body goes a little bit tense. Like I said about the stalking, they're getting a little bit lower, fixated eyes. Their breathing might get a little bit faster, so that's something to be really aware of. Their responses become a little bit slower. So you might ask them to sit and they might just twitch an ear. They might not even do anything else other than twitch an ear. And so that is your indicator that you need to do something. Okay. And if you miss it, that is where usually we either get a dog who explodes. So they lunge, they bark, they spin around on the end of the lead. We get a dog who lays down and refuses point blank to move. Or we get a dog who goes into shutdown. So they might start avoiding and using you as a blocker to the thing that they are approaching. So I suppose the question that you might be asking is, what does it matter? Like, why do I need to know about this? And I suppose my simple answer to you is, if you know about this and you have watched this and you have been aware of what your dog's triggers are, whether that be good triggers or bad triggers. I mean, dogs who get super excited by the sight of other dogs or maybe a tennis ball launcher. So some dogs get really super excited by a tennis ball launcher. And so it's really important that you know this so that you can do something about it. You can retrain their brain to have a different reaction to that trigger. To modify behaviour in any way, shape, or form, the first element is to understand. So we do that by observation. And once we understand where our dog is, what they are okay with, not okay with, we can then start to modify behaviour. So we look at being under and over threshold. We look at the distance that they can cope with something. Now, your dog might be triggered by multiple things, and their threshold of coping may be different for each thing. So that's something to be aware of. So the thing about working with your dog under threshold is that we are starting to then be able to modify behaviour. That is the biggest thing. So if you've got a dog who pulls you every time they see another dog in the street because they want to go and say hello, but you're not wanting that to happen anymore, then the way that we deal with it is that when they are under threshold, we might ask for more observation. So we might say, sit, watch me, keep your focus. So we do the engagement disengagement game, and then as that dog approaches and get closer, we say, with me, walk on, let's go past. And these are all the really important things to recognize. So this week's homework, I suppose, or reflection, or for you to go and observe, is when you're out walking with your dog, if you're teaching loose lead walking, like what we were talking about last week, and trying to reduce the yo-yo dog, you watch your dog, you figure out what they're okay with, and then from there, we start to put other behaviours in place when they are under threshold, not when they are over threshold. So you need to be proactive, not reactive. And this is how we start to understand and change these enthusiastic dogs that have got a really high drive. The more they understand that they can achieve their desired outcome, the better and more responsive and focused they will be. So don't think about your dogs in those moments as being bad or being disobedient, or even that you're a failure, because every dog and human have thresholds that they will jump over without realizing, and we can't always get it right. But those moments tell you what is enough for your dog and what is too much for your dog. So don't wait for the reaction to build up. Don't wait for them to explode. Don't wait for them to start tugging on the lead or laying down and not being able to move. Try and be a bit more proactive. But until the next episode, keep training kindly and try to keep up. Thank you for spending this time with me. If today's episode helped you slow down, feel seen, or think a little differently about your dog, then it's done its job. Remember, progress isn't about perfection. It's about observation and reflection. You're not behind, you're not failing, and you're definitely not alone. Until next time, keep training kindly and try to keep up.